Welcome, friends. We have now reached the place where you have to sell. The next few moments are the most critical for the transaction to go through. You have to understand here not only the requirement, the needs, physical and psychological and emotional of the customer, but also your own role. A salesman plays very many different roles. The most easily understood role is that of collecting the order, but he is also collecting payments. He is also giving information. He is also increasing the skills of his customer. They look up to him to advise and give sound information on various aspects. So the role that you have is multifarious. It's not just selling. Ultimately, everything leads to selling, but you need to understand what is expected of you at that moment by your customer. So, how does this happen? The moment you introduce yourself, don't be in a crashing hurry to say all that you want to say. Hold your horses. Understand the mood, the expectation of the prospective buyer. Is he receptive to you? A salesman very often makes a mistake by talking too much. As somebody I know used to say, salesmen and fish die by opening their mouths. Learn to open your ears. Learn to listen. Now, what's listening? Listening is more than just hearing. Listening is taking in the entire body language and the atmosphere and the environment around the buyer. Very often the buyer may not say what he wants to say, but his body language will convey clearly what he actually means. Quite often you see a father and son sitting together. The son tells you something which very clearly indicates that wait for a while for my father to leave before we proceed with the deal. Now, unless you are clearly observing the situation, you will not really decipher what the son is saying. So, listening is a very, very important skill that needs to be very finely honed by the salesperson. How does one listen? First and foremost, absorb every word that the speaker is saying. Understand his body language. If a person says, aye, 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 he is not actually welcoming you. Aye, he is welcoming you with open arms. So the words are the same. The way it is delivered, circumstances under which they are delivered. What is the environment? I am not in a position to talk right now. So don't press the issue at that point of time. And as I said, your role is also to be understood by you. Am I to give him a piece of information at this point of time? Am I to sell? Am I to ask him for payment? The homework that we had done earlier As you said, plan your call. You must have noted what is the purpose of the call. So you are fully prepared. The moment you say, you wanted to know whether 750 would deliver the job, here is the proof. You don't need 1 horsepower. 0.75 would do. So the technical leaflet that you bring would convince him that you are there to solve his problem. The moment you solve a problem for your customer, selling becomes a lot easier. As I said earlier, your role is to facilitate buying. If you are going to facilitate buying, you have to think like the customer. You must understand what are the issues that concern him and what are the solutions that you have to offer. If you are able to do this successfully, your customer buys with a pleasure. He happily buys from you. He does not feel that you have forced it down his throat. Well, as we come to the end of this episode, let me tell you that understanding the psyche, the mindset of the customer is the most interesting part and most challenging part also in the whole process of selling. I shall be discussing that in the next episode. Do join me for this most important aspect of selling. Thank you very much. Happy selling.